mission had been chaos, bullets flying in every direction, orders shouted into static. Sergeant Caleb Ward was told reinforcements were on their way and to hold fire. Caleb kept watch, but everywhere he looked, he saw enemy combatants closing in. An explosion sent debris everywhere. In the confusion, he saw a shadow moving through the smoke. Instinct and fear kicked in. He pulled the trigger and heard the scream of his friend, Private Davis. When the smoke cleared, he saw Davis on the ground, a bullet hole through his chest. His superiors assured him friendly fire happens, war is chaos, but the guilt gnawed at Caleb. He was sent home 3 days later on leave. Caleb tried to put a smile on for his family. They drank whiskey to celebrate his return. He drank to drown his guilt. That first night, he dreamt of a bullet traveling through some God-forsaken battlefield, weaving around combatants, searching for its target. 2 words were scratched into its side from Davis. Caleb woke up, screaming. The next day, Caleb tried to keep busy. At night, he dreamt of the bullet again. This time, it had passed through the battlefield and was traveling across the desert. Again, Caleb woke up, screaming. The next 2 nights were the same, the bullet speeding across deserts and over seas, closer. The next morning, his wife, Emma, found him scribbling on a piece of paper, muttering to himself. He jumped when she touched his shoulder.
"What's this?"
she asked.
Did you know a bullet travels at about 1,800 miles an hour? 5 days to get here,
he said, his eyes looking off into the distance.
"You're scaring me,"
Emma said. He simply replied,
tomorrow night.
The rest of the day, he refused to speak. He refused to eat. He simply sat on the porch, drinking, looking off into the distance as if waiting for something no one else knew about. The 4th night, his nightmare was the worst. The bullet had made landfall. It zipped past high-rises, over cars, past strip malls and farmland. The whistle of the bullet tearing through the air was replaced by terrible sound of Private Davis's last scream. When Caleb's family woke, they were shocked to see Caleb in good spirits. He joined the family for a large breakfast, laughing and joking with them. He seemed back to his old self. He spent the day playing catch with his nephews, talking sports with his dad, even enjoyed a walk with his wife. Emma was elated when he requested a special dinner of his favorite foods. When dinner was over, Caleb seemed off, as if there was a heavy sadness behind his smile. He suggested the family go into the living room for a movie. He even offered to clear the table. The family waited eagerly to start the movie. After several minutes, Emma felt something was off. She returned to the kitchen to find Caleb missing. She glanced out to the front porch. There he was, sitting in his chair, looking off into the distance, a glass of whiskey in his hand. She leaned out the front door.
"Caleb, the movie's starting,"
Emma said.
It's okay. Don't wait for me,
he said. He turned to her. For the first time since he returned, he said,
I love you, Emma.
"I love you too."
She smiled. Before she ducked back in the house, she looked in the direction Caleb was staring. She could have sworn she saw the moonlight reflecting off of something metallic as it moved between the shadows in the woods. Emma dismissed it as a figment of her imagination and went inside. Caleb's body was found on the porch the next morning, a single bullet hole in his chest. No gun, no weapon, just a bullet embedded in the wall behind him. The words, "From Davis," scratched on its side.